Do you ever catch yourself thinking about all the things you haven't done instead of noticing what you actually are doing right? We get so focused on fixing ourselves that we forget to notice how far we've come. And I think this is really important to remember. So, hi, I'm Mercedes, and I've been doing personal development now for over 30 years. And it started as my own healing journey after childhood trauma and losing my dad to suicide. And since then, I've worked with loads of clients, trained as a polyvagal coach, as well as a yoga teacher and breath work and done some training in breath work as well. And allowing me to help people understand how their nervous system really works. And what I've learned is that both personally and professionally is that most people don't realize how well they're doing already. So in this video, I want to help you see your progress differently so you can stop chasing the next fix and actually feel safe celebrating how far you've come. So by the end of this video, I hope that you'll know how to shift out of self-criticism and into calm confidence, even when life still feels messy. And that's the key, right? When life is not perfect, we still want to be able to look at the positives of what we've achieved. And I want to kind of clarify this. This isn't kind of like toxic positivity where we just think positively. This is actually about focusing on the actual real positive things that are happening in your life, as opposed to just thinking positively about something that's not going well. And what happens is often we only see what's missing. And when that happens, your body gets stuck in survival mode. So actually your nervous system is constantly being triggered because it's constantly trying to fix this problem and fix that problem. And you're constantly looking for the solution. And if, like me, you have ADHD or you've experienced trauma, you have that never enough feeling can become a default state. So you feel like you're not enough. And whatever you're doing, it's not enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. And it becomes a thing that goes around in your brain, and then can almost become a self-fulfilling prophecy because you're telling yourself over and over again, I'm not enough, I'm not enough, I'm not enough. And when we start to notice the progress, we remember it's not about perfection or results. Okay, so we're not focusing on the end result that we're getting, we're focusing on what we're doing, and it's about rhythm, regulation, and showing up again and again and again, even when it feels slow. So this is about you being able to turn up for yourself, in whatever way you want. So if you're running a business, so turning up for yourself, running that business every day. It could be a particular practice that you want to do, that you want to implement in your life. It's whether you can turn up for yourself. And even if it's not every day, it's noticing the progress that you're having and noticing, oh, I never used to do this, but now I'm doing it 3 times a week. And noticing that as a step forward, as opposed to just like thinking, oh, I'm not doing this every day, which could be a criticism. And so it's kind of just switching the focus of how you're looking at things. So the reason I kind of got to this way is I've been noticing I do voice journaling every day, and I use AI feedback and generate what's going on in my brain. And one of the things that I've started to notice is that very recently, my journaling was focusing on what wasn't working, what was going wrong, the things that I needed to fix, the things that I wasn't happy with, my energy levels being low. But actually, the more I focused on it, the more it was draining my energy. So I decided, and this is particularly the energy that I really felt this morning, to shift my focus and to look at what was working. And actually, I started to look, I thought, well, actually, I'm showing up daily to do my journaling. I'm tracking my habits. I'm organising my home. I'm managing my son's routines, right? And that might sound like, oh, that's what parents do. But, knowing where he is, when he's got to be there, what time he's got to be there, what he needs for that particular day. All right, I don't get it 100% right, but mostly. I'm staying consistent in my business. I'm doing the things that I need to do to start moving things forward. And I started to look at all the things that I was doing, and I suddenly thought, hang on, I'm actually doing really fucking well. And that was like, it was like a bit of, I was saying to myself, actually, do you know what? Things aren't perfect. So I track my finances monthly, but really I could do it more often. But it's years since I tracked my finances. So the fact that I'm doing anything, right? I'm pleased with myself. I'm pleased that I've set a spreadsheet up, and I'm actually filling it in every month and going through it and sticking to it so that I can see what I'm spending and what I'm not spending. And I think that's really important for me. So I kind of know what's happening. And I know that there's things that I need to do to improve that. But This is about focusing on what we're achieving. What are we achieving? And then when we can look at the things that we need to improve, rather than saying, oh, I haven't done this or I haven't done that, we can say, well, I've done all of this. How can I improve it? And you're looking at it from a totally different way. Um, and it's important to say that me, the way I'm thinking about it at the moment and thinking about the positives I'm doing, it's not about me pretending. And it's not about pretending everything's fine. So I'm not just going, oh, everything's wonderful, right? And doing all of that, because it's not. There are things that I need to do that I'm not doing. There are things that I need to organise that I'm not quite organising. And maybe I'm not doing things as quickly as I could and in not the best fashion that I could. But it's about allowing my nervous system to feel safe in progress instead of pressure. So rather than pressuring myself to do more, to do this, to do the other, say, actually, do you know what? I can say I'm doing a good job. And anything else I do on top of this is actually just a refinement, a tweak, an improvement, and it's taking me a little bit further on. But there's no pressure in that, because even if I don't improve or tweak or do anything, I am still making progress. And this is really important. So when we're talking about the brain and the nervous system interacting together, your brain kind of needs the evidence of success to regulate. Okay, so to allow your body to regulate. And so your body needs that coming down, that feeding down from the brain that I am doing these positive things, to then regulate the body to stop looking for that survival mode and that stress and that fight or flight, to improve, because the body says, oh, actually, do you know what? I'm okay. There's nothing I need to deal with. My brain is not looking at all these things as a thing that I need to fix and something that's wrong and something that I'm having to do because this is really scary. And so I'm now putting myself with fight or flight, the brain. And this is where it becomes, because obviously you hear me talk a lot about how we regulate the body up into the brain. And yes, there's an element of that. But with this way of approach, because they interact together, it's a two-way system. So your vagus nerve speaks both ways. It allows communication to go from the body to the brain and from the brain to the body. And although most of the communication is from the body to the brain still does send messages down to the body. So when it's something like this, when the stress, okay, so when we're feeling that fight or flight, and that fight or flight is coming from what we are creating in our brain, okay, so the brain, when we do this, we're tricking the brain into sending these positive messages. We're not tricking it, we are creating these positive messages, these genuine positive referrals, and that's sending that message down to the body. So then the body can relax. And then when our body regulates, this is where we get the bonus. The body regulates, it sends that calm, regulated sense back up to the brain. So then the brain is able to take more action from a regulated state. And so we actually achieve more. So then we continue in this feedback loop of positivity. Oh, I achieved this. That's positive. I regulate. That goes back up. I'm calm. I can do more. That goes back down. As opposed to when we were before and we're thinking, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do the other. So your brain is sending all those signals down to the body. The body's like, whoa, okay, right, now we're in danger because we've got to do this, we've got to do that, we've got to do the other. And I don't know the difference between a really long list of things to do and a tiger chasing me in the woods, right? So the body is like, okay, right, this thing's seriously wrong. So it sends those messages back up to the brain, and then the brain is like, right, there's something wrong. I've got to figure out what it is. And then it looks at you, it goes, oh my God, I've got all this stuff to do. And then that then actually can then cause paralysis, because you're then like, oh my God, what do I do now? Because there's just so much to do. And you're dysregulated, so you then can't do it. So actually, if you can just take a step back and say, let's not focus on what I've got to do. Let's just think about what I've done, what I've achieved. What can I put into the positive column, and how can I focus on the positive column more than the negative? And it's tricky because we have a natural negativity bias. So we could have a long list, and I do, right? And I will say this, I have a long list of loads and loads of things I am achieving. And I actually have quite a small list of things I'm not achieving yet, that I haven't quite got there. They're not quite, and this is a bit off. This is what my brain often focuses on, because we're programmed, like that's how humans are designed, to focus on this. If we can consciously switch our attention from this short little list to this long list of positives, we can shift the whole system from dysregulated to regulated. So this can come down to celebrating your progress and just retraining your body to see stability, and like it's just about retraining. So it's starting to draw attention to that. So for those of you that are in the sacred pause with me, I have put below the video, and if you're not, you can join. There's a link in the description. I've done a little downloadable, well, I've done it as a Google Doc, so you can download it and print it, or you can use it on Google. It's just a way to track at the end of the day the things that you've actually done, so you can start to put your focus on that as opposed to the things that you still need to do. And that's, as a tip to take away from this video is you can, for gentle practice, do a done list pause, right? And you can actually come in and just do this. So write down 3 things you've done right today, small or big, it doesn't matter, right? Just write down 3 things you've done right, okay? And because that act of thinking about it is shifting what your focus and attention is on. And for each one, take a slow exhale and notice what safe achievement feels like in your body. So you write it down, inhale it as you're thinking about it. As you exhale, feel what that feels like in your body. Okay, so just notice, tune in with how that feels. And let yourself sit with that feeling, even if it's just for a short while, so you can really start to learn what achievement feels like in the body. And this helps as well your nervous system to associate that progress with calm and not hustle. Because that's what we don't want to do, is shift into, oh, I've done this, and then we're still in that kind of like hyped up mode. It's more look at all the stuff I've done list and appreciating that, sitting with it, feeling it in our bodies. So we're bringing it back to our body, to our nervous system, allowing our nervous system to integrate that into us so we can then send those calm messages back up to the brain. So just to remember, and this is for me to remember as well, you're doing better than you think you are. You're not behind. You're just learning to see progress differently, or you're just focusing on the progress rather than the bits that you haven't done. Because when we start noticing what's working, we naturally build motivation and consistency rather than trying to force it. Because actually what happens is when we feel that positive, oh, I've done this, we actually build the momentum to continue doing other positive things and to tweak and improve and to add bits in. And that done list gets longer and longer and longer, and our to-do list gets smaller. And when I say to-do list, because I have a very long to-do list every day, but I mean those things that weigh on us, right? When we start to build that momentum, those things weigh on us a lot less. And then we can actually do them without the procrastination. So that's my thing for you to take away, is just focus on that list of things that you've done. And if you'd like more support, or you would like that resource where you can use it on a daily basis, come and join me in the Sacred Pause. The link is in the description. And otherwise, remember to like and subscribe to this video so you get more of my stuff. And I will hopefully see you again soon.